What up, guys? Your boy Quake, and Fat Joe has decided to basically stir up some stuff with Young Buck, and it was when Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda appeared on the Joe and Jada podcast. If you're not aware, Fat Joe just recently did an episode on their Joe and Jada podcast with Jadakiss, and they had Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda up there. And on there, Fat Joe decided to recall a moment where he ran into Young Buck, and the way he tells the story is that Young Buck wanted to come down and fight him, but didn't come down, and Young Buck popped his head out through the security, and Fat Joe swung on him a few times and gave him a two-piece biscuit, basically. And Tony Yayo kind of counters the story and says, tell the story because I never heard about it. And he kind of looks at him a little side-eyed. Same with Jadakiss. He looks at him a little bit side-eyed. And the whole, I don't know, man, something seemed weird about their interactions on there. I mean, it started out really cool. Towards the end, you know, Yayo kind of presses Fat Joe about, hey, did you want to do harmful things to me? What was that about? And it just kind of got ended there. And Yayo kind of looks at him a little bit different and weird. So there was some type of tension there still, but, you know, they're still cool. You know, they did a deal, like Fat Joe and Jadakiss helped Yayo and Uncle Murda do a podcast deal with their Valium network. So, you know, clearly it was not, you know, any beef there anymore. But Fat Joe's story decided to stir up a lot of drama because a lot of people look at Fat Joe's stories as lies, or at least they're fabricated to, you know, way further extent to make him look better. So let's play the clip of Fat Joe telling the story, and then I'm going to get into Young Buck's response, as well as the people that were around at that time, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on everything.
You breaking news if I never told nobody or said this story before, but because we saying that I might as well. But you know, I caught Young Buck in that time.
Oh shit!
I never heard that story.
You know he ain't gonna tell 50 that.
Yeah, call Young Buck.
Tell us the story because he ain't gonna tell. 50.
Man, he got two-piece legend. Like,
oh shit.
yeah, Young Buck, man. That nigga tried to front on me. He said, yo, I'm telling you,
they put hands on Buck.
I'm telling you,
supposed to be no head.
No.
Oh,
all right.
Man. So
no happened? Story, or you want the story?
I want the story.
And so I'm coming off stage. It's like a summer jam, but a winter jam. Right? It was winter, right? So everybody on there, Young Jeezy, Fab, there was a lot of witnesses too. I don't know. They don't never tell my stories when I'm the victor, I never hear the story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting off the stage and it's dumb dark. Like it's mad dark. And there was somebody up on the second thing. He was like, yo, crack. But I just got off stage. I'm ripping it down. Chicago. I'm walking out and says, yo, crack. You hear me, nigga? I look up. Oh, it's Young Buck. I got a water bottle in my hand. Like, fuck out of here. I throw the water bottle up there. I said, come down, pussy. Come down, pussy.
Damn.
Like, come down, pussy.
Damn.
Yo, I'm going crazy. Oh. You know, I don't never get like.
So when he came down.
I don't know. I don't get tested. Like, it's very hard to test me. Yeah, yo, I'm telling you, I'm going.
Come on, man.
I just black out. So I'm waiting for the nigga. The nigga up there, he got to come down the staircase, right? So I'm losing my mind, right? Like, yo, come, nigga. Come. He had a bunch of niggas with him, too. A bunch of Chicago dudes with him, right? So the cops come and they form like a barricade. Like, there's like 5 cops. They close the staircase so he won't come. He took too long to come down, by the way. Like, you know, when you see a nigga, you ready to tear him up. You down.
Get there.
Yeah. He's taking too long, right? And so when he comes down, he's in the staircase and he's trying to tell me like, yo, this ain't got nothing to do. But he was just talking crazy. He tested me to see if Fat Joe was pussy. You know, a lot of niggas is pussy. They act
Joe,
like
you
they
sure
tough,
he just
but
wasn't
you catch
saying what up? Like he said,
hell no. It was at the height of the beef.
Oh.
So he's in the staircase, yo, I wasn't this and that. But he poked his head out just 1 second over the cop's thing. The nigga caught the... Niggas like,
what he do?
Even the barber hit him.
So what he do?
Even the barber hit him?
He hit us with the my bag. Yo, it wasn't like that. This, that.
Damn.
Then we jumped. I tell you, I had the I had the ugly niggas with me.
My bad. I'm just thinking little lines again.
No, I'm just telling you, it was like yo, it happened.
I never heard this story. This is the first time.
I'm telling you the truth.
That's great. Not believe
a lot of stories we never heard. He
He's gonna want to come up here.
He can't come up here anyway.
Why?
Because the
You
nigga
say his
ain't down
part?
with the movement no more. He can't come up here.
Part.
Say his part. What he gonna say? I'll tell him in his face. Come on, Jada, you fucking with
Listen,
the
I know. Look,
So that's Fat Joe's side of things. He says that, he gave him a 2-piece biscuit quickly, briefly, and everything was broken up and they all went their separate ways. Now, the people that were there, and mainly on Buck's side, have spoken out and said this is total fabrication. This is total lies. And one of the first people to respond is Starlito. If you don't know Starlito, he is, part of Nashville, Cashville, Tennessee. Of course, with Young Buck, they had beef themselves, but they squashed it actually fairly recently in public, having an event with a bunch of people squashing the beef. Even D-Tay pulled up with Buck, which was cool. But Starlito quoted the tweet that referred to the Fat Joe clip, and he said this: "Cappuccino, I was there. Chicago PD put me in cuffs as they de-escalated. Lil Wayne security got me out of the jam. No one harmed anyone." So that was the first response when it came to this. And the second response was Young Buck. He decided to go on social media and make funny AI videos saying that he just got out of the hospital after Fat Joe gave him a 2-piece, which was hilarious. He posted those clips. And then the following day, he decided to preview a response diss track with a biscuit and little quotes and lines. And then after that, Young Buck's former DJ decided to step in and give his side of the story. He was Young Buck's DJ from 2006 to like 2008 or 2009, so quite some time back. But he says, "I wasn't the street guy. I just saw it from my perspective, and this is what happened." So check out the video explaining that.
Hey, yo, what up? Hey, look, I'm DJ Don Juan, right? I was Young Buck's DJ from 2006 to like 2008. And yesterday, I'm wondering why I'm seeing, this post about Fat Joe and this 2-piece biscuit. And so I finally stopped and watched it today, And look, man, the majority of people I know that Joe is a percentage-wise cap. There's always like something, and then there's something. And it is what it is. I don't personally know Joe. I know cats that do. It is what it is. I'm not hating on podcasts. I'm a huge fan of Jadakiss. You know what I'm saying? The whole joint. You see how he just kind of put the pillow over. Look, man, I love entertainment. But I was actually there at that Chicago show. And it was a lot of people. Yes, and we were up on a top tier. And I was specifically watching this. I'm not the goon. I'm the DJ. So I'm watching everything from like everybody's in front of me and I'm right there, right? I see this. I'm right there at that tunnel that comes down. What Joe is lying at is Joe pulled up at the bottom of that tunnel with 4 cops with him. Like they were surrounding him. Like there was already a tension in the air that the beef was going on and that Buck was going to be there. And Joe was moving around the whole time with police. I'm not knocking that. That's just exactly what happened. The police didn't just randomly pop up and form some type of barricade at the tunnel. They was already with him. And yes, the police did form a barricade, but they was rolling with him from the stage all the way back to his tour bus. They was there. Buck was barking from the top. The whole crew was, because Buck was down for the unit. Buck was down for 50. I know things have happened, but everywhere we went, you was not going to disrespect 50 Cent in front of Young Buck. So Buck was like, he was barking at him, right? Joe comes into view at the bottom of that tunnel and looks up at Buck and says, "Yo, Buck, no disrespect to you, but fuck 50. And when he said that, like Buck just turned into an animal and they just rammed down that corridor to come down. Like it was a big arena. We were in Chicago. And he starts coming down, but he can't get to him because of the police. Buck and Joe and them, as soon as Buck started coming, Joe and them took off to go to the tour buses, bro. And I don't get it. I know it's cap, and they say all news is good news or whatever for the game, for like this business that we're in. And it's funny looking at the memes and stuff like that. But 2-piece biscuit where? Literally. I might as well just been the journalist. I'm the DJ. I'm not the goon, dude. Like, I'm not on the front line ready to go to war physically like that, especially at that time, right? Nowadays, it's a little bit different. But back then, I was very young, was new to the whole play. It's cap, bro. It's cap. Coach PR reposted it. They know other people. RP Tick, Tillin on it. It's cap, bro. Why though? And now that bring Buck up on the podcast then. Like I said, like Joe is cap, man. It's all for entertainment though. So I was actually there. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. No 2-piece, no biscuit. Just Fat Joe with police from the moment he went on stage to the moment he came off stage and to back his tour bus, which was probably smart on his part. Because like I said, Buck was not playing no games back then when it came to anything dealing with G-Unit, 50 Cent, any of that. You know, and Buck definitely had them goons with him, them gorillas with him. And they weren't all from Chicago. They were from, some of them was from the Ville. It was with us everywhere we went. And best believe, yeah. So anyway, shout out to Buck. You know what I'm saying? Joe can keep capping. Shout out to them in their podcast. I ain't tripping, do numbers. But there was no 2-piece and no biscuit. I was there.
So his side of the story from the DJ's perspective is that nobody put hands on anybody. Basically, Fat Joe said, hey, no disrespect to you, Buck, but F50. And Buck at that time was obviously rolling with G-Unit, riding with 50. So anybody disrespected 50, Buck was willing to go at. And there is history of Buck doing this. I mean, just look at the Vibe Awards where he allegedly stabbed somebody over Dr. Dre and protecting Dr. Dre. So if Buck can do that, it's clear as day he can definitely go at somebody like a Fat Joe. I don't think he was scared of a Fat Joe. Let's be honest here, guys. Let's not, twist the story. But continuing on, after Buck's DJ posted that video of him explaining the incident with Fat Joe responded in the comments and said, man, you wasn't there because you wouldn't be saying this. Buck should be a grown man and admit it. But no worries, this ain't the first time someone lied on an ass whooping. You know Buck is crazy for denying this. Buck's former DJ responded and said, so explain to me how Buck is going to perform without his DJ. You can't be serious. Bruh, bring back Joey Crack. I don't like Bulge Fat Joe. I legit have no reason to cap. I saw you with my own eyes and heard you loud and clear. I gave the direct quote you said and then you left. Vamonos. You could try and lie about others, but I was the DJ and we saw you enter with police, perform with police, talk ish with police, and leave with the police. I actually think you made the right decision, Joey Cap. We then get to Buck dropping the full track, diss track towards Fat Joe, and it's called Cappuccino, which is, what Starlito said in his tweet. And in the caption, he said, good night at Fat Joe. Dinner have been served. Welcome to Cashville. Cappuccino out now on all platforms. With this track, I'm going to let you guys listen to it, snippets of certain parts that were really interesting to me. And then I'm going to talk about what he said on the track.
Every day some new shit. These rappers need to quit teaming up on these podcasts, making these little skits. Joe, I'm recovered, let me talk a little bit. Said you gave me a 2-piece, well here's the biscuit. Told the story, but you just had to go and twist it. Thought I would miss it. You threw a bottle of water and didn't think that I would risk it. I ought to take it there, but I'm not gonna act like this scripted. Just here to tell the truth so the fans can't get conflicted. No hands was put on nobody, even though I attempted. I don't know if it's just you, Fat Joe, or the Ozempic, but speak facts when you say my name. This ain't the Rucker Park, I don't play them type of games.
So as you can see, Buck is completely denying the allegations. He basically is saying, hey, I tried to put hands on you. Security got in the way. Nobody put hands on anybody. And that's not the story that Fat Joe told, obviously. After Buck released the diss track, he responded to it under a different page and said, buy his stuff. I heard he's doing bad. I wouldn't have said it if it didn't happen. On the actual track, which is really cool, he says he spoke to Who Kid, and Who Kid said, G-Unit doesn't feel the same without Banks and Buck in the group. And I totally agree. That's a really, really dope thing to hear. And then he even shouts out 50 on the track and says, 50 knows how I get. I get the money regardless of what's going on, which is really dope to hear, man. I hope these guys come back together. I mean, even if 50's not involved, because I think 50's kind of moved on from music and just all that stuff. It would be cool to have Banks, Buck, Yayo on a G-Unit tour. That'd be really amazing, and I think that's possible, man. I would 100% go and see the show, but nonetheless, Buck has responded. He's said his side of things, and I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think. So Fat Joe, here's the problem with Fat Joe's story, is why mention this now? When you guys were beefing in your guys' prime, in 2005 till 2000 and because they ended the beef in 2011, I think, when Chris Lighty died. So from that time frame of 2004 with New York record, after that, it's basically when the beef with Fat Joe started, till 2011, when 50 and Fat Joe were on the same stage at the BET Hip Hop Awards, showing respect to Chris Lighty. During that time, I never heard Fat Joe mention this story at all until now. So that tells me right there that this story is fabricated, that he fabricated it. Yeah, did he run into Buck? Of course. Everybody confirms that story. But to say that Buck got hit with a two-piece, that's fabricating the story. And it's unfortunate because the Joe and Jada podcast, there's two things about it that's really the reason why I don't watch it, frankly. One, and it has to do with Fat Joe, both of them. One is that Fat Joe just completely interrupts his guests, interrupts Jadakiss, and it's really hard to listen to a podcast when somebody is consistently interrupting people. That's annoying on any front. People say I do it when I do interviews, when I barely do it. I'm just talking sometimes at a certain moment. And yes, we're human. We'll end up interrupting here and there. But I just watched the Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda one. It was horrible because of how many times they're talking over each other, interrupted each other. Like nobody can say what they want to say. Like everybody has to yo, repeat it millions of times before somebody can actually say whatever they want to say on the podcast. That's annoying on a podcast. Nobody wants to hear that, where people are talking over each other every time. And then the second thing is the Fat Joe stories. A lot of them people have come out and said they're cap or they're halfway told. And I think Fat Joe is doing that on purpose to gain interest for the podcast. I can see that angle of it. And hey, I respect that. That's part of the game. It is what it is. Some people fabricate and lie just to get more views. It is what it is. But it's frustrating, and I can't listen to that. It's just annoying. I think artists doing podcasts, there's a small percentage that should be doing it. It shouldn't just be anybody getting on there and doing podcasts and starting stuff. And a lot of artist podcasts have failed. And it's for a plethora of reasons, but that's a huge, lane that I can get into and say, this, and this, yeah, that's my piece. That's my at least take on it. I think Fat Joe is 100% lying. Like I said, he's been known to be a liar. To be honest with you, what would be the most entertaining podcast? Would be Fat Joe, Rick Ross, and The Game on one podcast telling stories, because all three of them are complete liars in how they tell stories. I mean, Rick Ross' whole identity is a cap. Game just tells stories that just don't make sense, like him being in the studio with What Up Gangsta and having a role in making sure that 50 wrote that or having an influence on 50. That makes no sense. What Up Gangsta was recorded way before 50 even met Dr. Dre and Eminem, so how could he meet The Game? Doesn't make any sense. So that's other stuff that Game is, he's told so many stories on that end. I like it, though. It's entertaining. It's fun. I'm not bashing these guys and saying that these guys are horrible people. I mean, people fabricate stories all the time, but it gets annoying when it's overly done. That's my problem with it. But yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. Who's telling the truth? To me, like I said, it doesn't make sense. Buck has ran down on a couple people. I mean, no disrespect to Starlito. He, had a fight with him. No problem. Stabbed somebody at the Vibe Awards. And I can remember off the top of my head, but he's had more altercations where he hasn't ran away or had any stories where he's been, scared in the situation. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to support this channel further, you can do so at patreon.com/diverse mentality. For just $3 a month, you can get my videos uncut and raw the way I intended them to be, but couldn't because of YouTube. Plus, you also get access to our Discord community, where we have a great community talking about hip-hop and various other things. It's very dope. So only $3 a month. I'd really appreciate the support. Also, follow us on social media at QuakeGW and at Diverse Mentality. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.